Hello, welcome to my channel and thanks for joining me. I'm going to try and make a sun catcher. I'm using this wire that I got from Amazon. I will leave a link in the description box below. It's usually for making armatures and I'm going to try and make my own bezel. So I've just cut off a piece and I'm using some round nose pliers to put a loop in the top. So I just bend it round a little bit, take the pliers out, turn it round and pull the wire around the pliers. That gives me my loop. Now I'm going to try and create some concentric circles. So I'm just pulling it round. It's not hard to manipulate. So I'm just forming the circles, one smaller than the other. Once I got that, I'm going to form another loop, pulling the wire round onto itself. And now I can manipulate the wires again so that both of those loops are above and below each other. They're parallel with each other. Now I just need to try and shape this as best I can into a circular shape. It's not going to be perfect. I don't mind that. This is handmade. I'm making it entirely from scratch, so that's good. Now I'm going to use some of this contact paper. It's the kind of paper that you put on school books. Cold laminating, I think they call it. Self-adhesive. So I'm just going to cut a piece off big enough for the bezel to fit on top of. Now I can take off the release paper, or at least part of it. I'm just going to fold over an edge so I've got somewhere to grab and try and place my piece in the middle. I don't want to get my fingerprints on the sticky back because that will transfer onto my resin. So I'm just covering it with the release paper and trying to push it flat and make sure that it is fully adhered to the sticky back. Now I'm going to fold the corners over, all of them, just to try and prevent me picking it up when it catches my gloves, because there's a lot of sticky area around the outside. And I will rub down on the wire and try and make sure that it is completely flat and pushed down and adhered to all of the sticky back. Now it looks like I've got a little gap here at the top, so I'm just trying to push up that bottom loop and close the gap to the edge of the outer ring. Right, so I'll zoom in a little bit and I just need to get some gloves on, so I'll do that. Okay, I'm just going to put it on my Perspex sheet that goes under my UV lamp so that I don't have to move it around. And I'm using JDiction's medium viscosity UV resin. And I'm just going to put some in the bottom crescent. I just want a thin layer because I'm going to add some more. And I'll just use my sticks to spread it round and make sure it touches all of the wire and even up into those little corners at the top there. Then I can pop it under the lamp for a first cure. Okay, that's done, and now I'm using some different resin and I'm just going to mix up some colours with some mica. You can see at the top I've got some Arteza mica and I've done a black, a blue, and this one is a lavender colour. So I'm just going to mix the mica into the UV resin in my pot, and then I will be able to make another layer using the colours. So again, I'm going to speed that up. I've mixed up my purple and I've got a little bit of glitter in with the blue, but first I'm going to lay down the black in the middle at the bottom. I'll spread that out a little bit. And next I'm going to lay some blue down next to that. and then I can use the black stick to blend the colours together. I'm just going to get rid of that piece that fell outside of the wire. And I'll carry on filling some blue. And then lastly, the purple. Let's clean that blob up. Clean up anything that you don't want to cure onto your wire. And I will blend the colours together as I'm going. And I want to make sure that I get it right up into the corners there. I need to make sure that the wires stick together. And use the sticks again to blend the areas together. Then I'll pop that under the lamp. Now I have some of these crystals, they're like rhinestone crystals, and I'm going to put a layer of resin on top of what I already have, and then I will place the crystals, just a few of them, maybe 5, just so that they look a little bit like stars. I'm hoping that they will keep their shine. I won't lose it with the resin. So I'll just use the tweezers to place them randomly in the resin, and then I will pop this under my lamp to cure again. Next I'm going to use these little teardrops, and I'm going to mix up some resin with some yellow glitter. I want to make some rays because I'm going to build a sun that is going to hang from the middle of my pendant. And I'm just going to use the glitter to give me the yellow colour. So I'll make sure that that is mixed in, and just add a little bit more. I want a bit stronger colour. And once I have that mixed in, I can use my stick to put the resin into the little holes. And I am putting the stick in there, and I'm kind of twiddling it around because you do tend to get a bubble that forms under there because it's such a enclosed space. So once I have filled as many of these as I think I might need, I will pop this under a lamp. I'm using the Let's Resin double-sided UV lamp, so it cures from the top and the bottom at the same time. Whilst those are curing, I can remove this now from the backing sheet. So let me pull the plastic off the back. Now I need to be a little bit careful. I don't want to bend the wire or crack the resin, because this is stuck pretty good. It's got a couple of layers of resin on the front, so it's pretty solid, but this is really very sticky. Sorry for the poor camera shot, but you can see that I am just pulling the plastic off. Almost done. There we go. I think my crystals, you can just about see them. They would probably have been better if they were silver backed, but they were not. But I'm happy with it. Okay, there are a few ripples on the back, so I want to tidy that up. So I'm going to put some resin on it, and I'm going to use some of this clear iridescent glitter. So it will show the colour beneath, but it will be nice and sparkly. And then I will spread that onto the back. So I'll just spread it all the way out to the sides, make sure it has a nice even coat, let it sit for a few minutes just so that it flattens out. And I think there's no excuse not really to make sure that the back is nice and tidy and looks pretty, even if it is going to be against a window or a wall and may not actually be seen. I will know it's there, and yeah, I think there's just a pride in your work if you make the whole piece as pretty as you can. And once I've finished coating this, I'm going to use my little lamp over the top just to cure it. Okay, that's done now. So that looks pretty. And yeah, I quite like the look of that from the front. So I need to set that aside, and I can work on my centerpiece. Okay, so now I'm going to use my pendant mold here. I'm just going to mix up some coloured resin. Pop some in my pot here. Not sure if that was a lump fallen in there. Yep, let's hook that out. So I want to put a very tiny amount of orange pigment for resin. I don't want a lot of this because it's very strong. So I'm just going to pick a bit up on my stick, I hope. Oop. Just put that in there. Yep, that's fine. I really don't want it to be very strong orange colour at all. And I've also got some alcohol ink in the shade Lemonade. A couple of drops in there. And mix that in as well. Okay, now I want to pour that into the bottom of this pendant mould. And I hope I've got enough just to cover the bottom. If I haven't, I will add some more clear UV resin into here. But I think I probably do have enough just to get a thin layer. I don't want to make this terribly thick because it is quite a thick mould, so I'm not going to be pouring it full depth. Whoops, actually what I did forget was I wanted to put a little bit of glitter in there, so I'm just going to go ahead and do that. Pop a tiny bit in there and mix that round. And then I will go ahead and cure this under my lamp. Okay, so that's done now, and I've only got that one layer in there. It's really thin. I'm going to take that out. And I now need to get a little bit of bezel tape. So I want to stick my piece down. Now it is not completely flat on the back, it is slightly domed, but I'm hoping it will stick enough. That's fine. Right, so let me just fold some of these edges over a little bit so that I'm not constantly sticking this to my gloves. And pop that corner over, come on. There. Okay. That might be a problem that I've transferred some of this silver from my gloves, but I will see. Okay, so now I have my little crystals that I made earlier, the little teardrops, and I'm going to start to place those around the edge of my circle. Just going to space them out. I don't know how many I am going to need, and I may decide to do a different colour and slightly larger teardrops. So let me just zoom in a little bit here. So I'm just literally sticking them around the outside.
Might need to move that one a minute. They are sticking really well to this tape, which is good. And definitely going to need a few more. Right, so I'm just going to reorganize these and space them out a little better, and then I will go ahead and make some more slightly larger ones just to fill in the gaps. So I want a ring of these little petals, teardrops, whatever you want to call them, around the outside. I'm trying to create a sun. So I'll meet you back here once I've got some more teardrops.
So I mixed up a little bit more resin, and this time I added a drop of the orange pigment, just the tip of my stick. Then I added some more of the same yellow glitter, and then I used the next size up to produce a slightly larger teardrop shape.
Okay, so I've cured them front and back. And I have some slightly larger ones. I found an extra one of those little small ones, so I'm just going to see if I can shuffle these along a little bit. Okay, and now I can demold these, and hopefully, look at that, almost as if it was made for it. So I'm just going to stick all of these down to the bezel tape, and I'm doing it literally to hold them in place. So I carry on getting these out. So I might need to make a few more of these little ones. Oh, goodness me. Don't know where that went, so I'll find that in a minute. So I'm just going to carry on arranging these, and I will make some more of the little ones if I have to. And I will be back once I have arranged all of these around the edges. All right, I've arranged all of those around there now. So I'm just going to take some plain UV resin, and I'm just going to let it fall in between the gaps around the edge of the center circle. So I'm literally piping along the edge of the circle, and then allowing that resin to fall down in between the rays or petals. I'm going to call it, they are rays, because it is a sun that I'm trying to go for. So just going to let that continue to seep down. And I'm going to give it a top coat actually as well while I'm here, because that mold does have a slightly damaged surface, so it's not quite as shiny as I'd like it to be. So spread that out. Try and keep the hole because I do want to hang this. Just coat over the surface, and then I'm going to let that sit so that it levels out a little bit, and then I will pop the lamp over it and cure it. Hopefully that will be enough to hold these little petals to the outside. Okay, that's finished curing. So now I'm going to see if I can take this off the back and hope that all these little pieces are stuck. Yes, nice. So it's a little paler than I want, and I do need to tidy up the back. So I'm just going to pop it back on here, and I will mix up a little bit more resin and add some of this, and then I'll coat the back, and that will give it some added strength and will give me a little bit more colour as well. Okay, that's been done twice, so it's a lot neater, and that's a nice sparkly sun that I want to put in there. Okay, I need to make a jump ring for this because this one just doesn't fit. There's quite a long gap between the hole and the top of the sun, and I've measured it, and this is about the depth that I need. So I have a piece of wire, and I am going to create an odd jump ring. So I've just wrapped the wire around like so. I'm just taking a pair of snips, and I'm going to snip the wire like that. Now I can bend that sideways and hook that through. Just got to get that over the top there. Come on. I should have done it the other way around, really. There we go. It's dug itself into the resin, which is not what I wanted it to do. Come on. Right, there you go. I made a hook. So I'm just going to hook that over, and then I can bend that back into place. Oops, and then I can straighten that up with a pair of pliers, because I put a little bit of a kink in it and I didn't mean to. It's quite malleable, the wire, so there we go. Sorry if you can't see that. I'm just bending the hook over at the back. So that now my sun hangs in the middle. All I need to do now is just put either a chain or ribbon, something to hang it from the top. Well, I hope you've liked this video, and if you have, please give me a thumbs up, a comment. All this helps my channel. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. It's free and you will get content every week, sometimes twice a week, and I would love it if you would join me. Thanks for watching. Bye.